Okay. Yes. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are here on our Schengen Story Media Zoom discussion. We call it Virtual Town Hall Meeting. Like you all know, the word virtual means we are connected through the internet, and it's a town hall meeting where we discuss, we rub minds, we share ideas, and we come to a conclusion. Sorry. So I'm going to introduce our guests for today, and also I'm going to bring out the topic for today. We are still in March, the month of March, and the month of March is it's considered the month, a feminine month. The month of March is like a woman, because the 8th of March is normally the International Women's Day, and soon some countries will be celebrating the Women's Day and the Mother's Day and the Female Day too. So the month of March is like a woman, and it's beautiful. I mean, there's no amount of accolades and tribute we give to the female gender. I mean, the woman, I was brought to the world through a woman. So if not for a woman, I would probably not be alive. So the woman needs to be celebrated, and it's starting on a beautiful note. We have beautiful things happening relating to women, and we also have sad things happening that we will talk about. So, but today we are continuing the last topic. We're continuing with our discussion on women equality and empowerment. Today we're also talking on part 2 of that subject, women equality and empowerment. We are sorry, our timing changed today because we really needed to have the presence of somebody. When there are elephants in the room, it has to be noticed. I mean, you can't hide that. So we changed our timing. We're really sorry for this. A lot of people have called to tell me the timing is a little bit tight for them, but hopefully they will be joining us. But because we want to hear our queen, we want to hear our mother and sister and friend, so we said, let's rearrange to suit the timing. So discussing with us on women equality and empowerment in the Schengen virtual town hall meeting today, the 13th of March, 2020, is my very good friend, a sister, and a partner in so many things. And that's Queen Ebere Gomwok Ijere. You're going to introduce yourself. Also with me is my partner in France. That's the man that coordinates Schengen Story Media activities in France. No other person than my good man, is like my best man. And that's Chuma. Chuma Matthew, you're welcome to our discussion today. So we have friends here. I'm seeing our coordinator from Malta, but he said he's at work, so he will be without video. So, but you're welcome, my friend from Malta, and we also have Shauna from Ireland, and I think the YouTube corner is growing now. There are 5 people from the YouTube corner. So you're all welcome. So I'm opening the floor to introduce ourselves and give us some insights to this beautiful topic on women equality and empowerment. Yes, go ahead, Madam Ebere.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Mrs. Ebere Gomwok Ijere of Nigerian Swiss Igbo origin. I'm a scientist, an entrepreneur, a singer, a writer, a businesswoman, and the founder of a Berry Foundation, which is based in Switzerland and in Kenya. I've been in Switzerland for over 25 years. I came here at 19 years old and I came to Switzerland to study. I'm a mother and I was of three children. I adopted three in Kenya too. I work full time, more than full time, as a senior nurse in the public hospital here. I have a master's in science on my MBA, and hopefully, by God's grace, one day I'll do my DBA. Yes, I'm passionate about women empowerment and equality. Actually, I just want to read one phrase that I got out of my research is women's empowerment is promoting women's sense and self-worth, the ability to determine their own choices and the right to influence social change for themselves and others. By being empowered, we can decide to a certain degree on what concerns our lives and things that are happening around us. It is very important for we women in diaspora. I would say this country is Switzerland. My mom is Swiss, but actually, I I'm like a foreigner too. I'm the only Black, and I'll call myself Black nurse, senior nurse on the floor. But it took me 20 something years to get to where I am today. I have gained the respect of the people around me. I have worked hard. I've been disciplined, integrated. I speak French. It's my fourth language. I was obliged to, I had to speak the language to integrate into Switzerland because Switzerland has the French, the Italian, and the German, then the Swiss language part of it. So I'm in the Swiss French part. So having to integrate into Switzerland, you have to learn the language and be part of the system and adapt into the system and use the resources around you find yourself to improve on yourself and to empower yourself. This is very important. We have people that come here that refuse to learn the language and they keep on complaining about the system. But it's very wrong because if you're in Igbo land, you learn Igbo so that you can move with the Igbo people. If you're in the north and you don't hear a word of Hausa, you're lost. If you're in Yoruba land, it's the same thing. So coming to Switzerland when I was 19, I looked around me and said, oh my God, because I was coming from University of Nigeria, when my father was a professor emeritus there and all that. We left Nigeria because of the crisis. In 1993, I was attacked by armed robbers, 4 armed robbers with AK-47. With my mom, they shot at me, missed me. That's when my mom decided to leave the country. She left with the younger one, and then she started bringing all of us out in Switzerland. When I came, I've always wanted to be a doctor, but my mom said, look, it's French. It's going to be very difficult because Switzerland is highly competitive. So try something just a step lower, nursing. I tell you that it was so difficult to study, but I put all my efforts inside. I went to school and told myself I have to get out of this place successful. My mom is a professor of languages. She speaks 5 languages. She told me, I will help you as much as I can and to correct your work. But second year was in oral, so my mom couldn't help me. I was forced to work hard and integrate and do my best. And that's how I empowered myself, by reading, spending extra hours in the library. The system works. So you need to use what you have around you to get the best. And that is it. And many of us come and we keep on saying, Switzerland, this. I've never complained. I'm blessed because I've been able to reach where I am through hard work. And hard work, discipline, focus. I wrote a few things and I told myself, what are my key words that have helped me to reach where I am in Switzerland? I'm not yet where I want to be, but I'm walking towards where I want to be. Just like 2 weeks ago, I got a letter. I've been in 15 years in the hospital. They told me I'm one of the few that have been approved for promotion. And also they have to discuss with them the courses I want to take to be promoted to the next level. But that's after 15 years of hard work. There's no way about it here. The system is structured, working, or you have to work hard. If you use, as we say, magu way, they catch you and that's it. And then you keep on complaining. But I'm a translator, French English translator for Swiss government. They call me, I get $80 an hour. That's it. And that's because I translate for them. Because you use your skills. I tell myself, I speak French well, I speak English well. And they're always looking for people that speak English. So I got into the system for 10 years. I've been translating to. So when you look at what is around you and say, can I use this to improve on myself? Then it will take you from point A to point B, but it takes time. What I noted out as my keywords were hard work, patience, diligence, perseverance, discipline. Be aware, be conscious, be kind, have compassion, believe in your dreams, be passionate, focused, get involved, give, impact. It's very important. These words are powerful. And I look at Ngozi Iweala, and we grew up with her. Her parents were my father's friends, and she's 20 something years older than me. But I think her CV, if you look at it, is hard work. She worked her way to the top and she stayed focused. And I said, by God's grace, I might be greater than her, but I have to work very, very hard and do the right thing in Switzerland. Because forget about racism, forget about all that. I'm telling you, if you have doing the right thing, they could be racial, but it will just pass you because you're focused. And getting the best out of the system has helped me and has empowered me. And I've been also doing a lot of things back home in Nigeria, where I've created businesses. I have a recording label. I'm into farming. I'm making soaps. I'm now doing something with two other people going into crayfish production. And this has just been 2 years. I've been implementing, empowering also people, women also. I have widows under me. I have students under me. My foundation, the extension in the East has over 50 youths, girls and boys who are under me. So I coach them, I mentor them, I talk to them about working hard, being focused, disciplined. The wrong thing never, we have a lot of Nigerians doing, I feel bad because I go out on the road, I see many of them, they're carrying drugs. And that's it. That's what we're known for in Switzerland. Huh? Nigerians are known, the girls are known for prostitution. I'm telling you, that's it. You go to Rue de Genève, you see all of them there. It's difficult. Yes, I'm Swiss, but I think we can choose because I know many of them that got maybe married to Swiss people but misbehaved. And personally, it's a choice. We need to know our self-worth and with what we have, work hard and get to the next point. I will end by saying, it's a quote by Beyonce. We need to reshape our own perception of how we view ourselves. We have to step up as women, take the lead. Then we will not do certain things that we're not comfortable with. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. This is straight from the heart.
Yes, always. My books, I even forgot to say I write books, and my poems are just straight from the heart. Somebody finished it in 30 minutes, a book. He said, baby, where's the next volume?
Thank you very much. So that's
Thank you.
So still be on standby. It's a discussion that we normally stay an hour to rub minds. So last week we had similar discussion from some wonderful women that were here, and one of them has joined us now. I want to introduce my top lady, Laura Ikeobi. Laura, you're there. Are you there? Laura, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon, good evening. I'm here.
Yes, good. So be on standby. We are continuing the discussion from last week. Remember, we said it was so scintillating, so inspiring and impactful last week, and we said today we want to add up to what we were doing because we didn't want to stretch the whole time last time. So,
yeah.
But while we were on that line, there were questions I'm putting to our ladies and those online. Lara, do you want to make an intro and a few comments? Go ahead.
Well, I just joined, so I don't know where you guys are. So, but like, these arguments about women empowerment and equality, cannot be overemphasized. We all know what we want as women and where we're supposed to be as women. So we will keep, preaching the gospel. We will not relax until we get what we want. So that's just the little I just want to add up, and then let me hear from others.
Okay.
What they have to say.
Very good. That's good. So last week we talked on how probably how if no, let me put it like this. There has to be control over empowering women because it might lead to what somebody asked, feminism. And when the feminism thing begins to play in, that's the extreme. It doesn't get too nice. It doesn't look too good. So we're going to talk on that also, the feminist, the extreme part of empowering women. Now, what I want us to discuss more today, Laura, is, yes, and Ebere, it's more on where we are. We're in Europe, where, you see, this empowerment we're talking more for the African community, because the Europeans are empowered already. In Italy I live, I see women having more preeminence than men. And I see them doing things too. They drive train, they are involved everywhere. So our concentration is on our people, our race, our color, and our nationality. So we are in a place where the level of enlightenment and illiteracy is enlightenment is zero, illiteracy is high. And funny enough, this is the Western world, but a large number of the Nigerians here, I found that they can't put in things. Ebere was talking of language, learning the language. These people can't even speak the ordinary pidgin English we speak back home. So how do we work in this community, in this environment, an environment where it's hard to get them to understand some basic things? How do we work with these ladies? How do we really begin to put that empowerment in them, that awareness that, listen, they can do things? How do we start with this level of their education? Yes. Laura, you want to say, or Ebere, you want to go ahead and say something? Because I know you'll be leaving for work soon. Yes, how do we do this? How do we start with getting them to understand things, carrying them along, making them see that they need to have some morals, some values, some essence of being human. Because I have mixed up with some of them, and it marvels me that still here in this part of this world, we have people like this. It shocks me because I thought that era has gone where people are, everybody is enlightened, everybody can read and write. And that was what I thought until I came in and I found out that you can't even be with them for 10 minutes. There's nothing you could do unless you come down to their level. And for some of us, it's hard to come to their level because we've passed that, let me give a small example also. My magazine, our publishing house, we want to put out articles. We want people to read and learn and see things, open their horizon. But what they are more interested in, the picture. You see picture. Nobody is interested in reading. Nobody wants to. They just see my picture. Where are my picture now? So we find out that our media outfit, we are more into Francis Truman. We find ourselves gathering pictures and just arranging pictures and doing image things. So no, nothing intellectual, nothing to grow it. Please, I want the ladies to talk. How can we, because we have to do something about this, because these are our people. And like I was saying before the meeting started, the emphasis should be us here in Europe. Enough of this too much thinking of Nigeria, because we're here. I'm here now. So how do we work out things here with our people that are not enlightened, that are not educated? Laura, come on. I know you can give something. Tell me. You're a mother and you're also on the field. Laura, okay, Eberia wants to go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
I think personally we need to work with the structures that exist on ground that are Nigerian.
Okay.
Sorry to say, I belong to a church that inside the church you had these people, but they never mention things like that. So if the church, Nigerian church, is encouraging such behaviors, where do you start from? I can't come out as an individual and go to the station and start telling Nigerians to read, or go to the Nigerian embassy. That's where it's important. The Nigerian Commission exists. The Nigerian embassy exists. They have structures in Switzerland, that the Nigerian groups that exist, where we need to make people conscious of this kind of thing. That is it. It's creating awareness and consciousness that these things are important. That's it. And even the churches that exist, I don't think they're in Switzerland, and they don't have many mosques. But we don't even have many northerners here. So it's more of southerners and all that. So it's important. They have functions, Nigerian functions, but nobody comes out to give a speech on this kind of thing. Everybody is, as you said, looking at picture and the dress and cap we're wearing and the shoes we're wearing, and that's what matters. And that's it. So if everybody goes back, not being aware or not even having that seed planted in them, there's something we have to work on in Switzerland. I'm talking of Switzerland because there are many Nigerians here, but there are many also, I think like 80% are not doing the right thing. That's the thing. And it's very, I say Nigerian, I'm Nigerian proudly because I know where I come from. I'm telling you, there are many people that don't say they're Nigerians. Then they look at me and they say, but you're white. I say, no. I'm half Nigerian, half Swiss. I always start with Nigeria because I know my heritage. So you can't just tell me, yeah, so you see, that's the thing. So we need to use what we have here to speak out and to make people conscious of what is happening. In the churches, the people that, I can meet the pastors there, for example, and say, what are you saying about what is happening? It's not about giving tithes and offerings from what is coming from. That's the problem we have. People are just like not bothered, but it is a problem. And it's a problem that is being a problem to the Swiss government, for example. That's it, because they don't like we Nigerians are not doing the right thing in the system.
Thank you very much. So you're saying structures on ground that could be worked with, structures like the church and the embassy. That's a very good.
And Nigerian associations, they do have. I avoid them for many reasons because they're always fighting. But then we should do it.
Very good. Okay. So Chuma, you're there. You're here on this platform too. So open your phone. You're muted. Mute yourself. Good. Yes, I think you're hearing what we're saying during the discussion.
Joining the discussion is still starting from where I stopped. And I'm happy our sister, Queen AB, has said something about it. The situation about empowering women here in Europe goes a long way. We have a lot of mothers, we have a lot of sisters, and we have a lot of daughters here in Europe that needs to be directed so that they can be empowered. But there's an adage that says, unless one raises his hand and say, here I am, nobody finds him. It's always hard to locate that person. If you want to be empowered, what do you want to be empowered on? What is your interest? We are talking about empowering women, which is a very wonderful something, because when you train a woman, empower one woman, you have empowered a whole family. it goes a long way. We need to, first of all, let our women know the importance of what they ought to do. And like we have all heard, where and where do we find our sisters? Where and where do we Nigerians come together and try to speak of something? Every time there are weddings, there are birthdays, there are these festival or whatever, parties here and there, nobody raises the topic. Churches are there. All we see in the churches are talking about tithe, saying if you are not a member of my own church, you cannot associate with me. That is division. And this is going a very long way, dividing our people and not giving them rooms to reason together. Again, we have to bear in mind that they say heaven helps those who help themselves. And Christ himself said that if you do like the hypocrites do, what change, what difference have you made? So it is high time we tell our sisters, you can make the whole money in this world, but it's not all about money. It's all about making an impact that when you are not there, people will always speak positive of you. Our sisters back home, we have hairdressers, we have fashion designers, we have caterers, we have people who are into patisserie, baking of cakes and all these things back home. Then we also have other people who really want to, who do other things. There are so many women that are driving here now. But our sisters here, are they willing and ready to get into this? Are they willing and ready to change the path? Why have they forgotten what we are noted for? Nigerians are diehards. We are entrepreneurs. I once listened to somebody that called me, we were discussing something again, and the person said, why is it that any Nigerian you meet and ask him, I want this, I want this, I want this, tell you, don't worry, I can do them, I'll get them all for you. I told him that every single Nigerian you see is a working industry because we connect, because we have links. And that is what we are noted for. And we are proud of that. And that is what makes people try to push us down because they cannot compete with us. Our sisters, look at them. Our wives, look at them. I know of a lady that is a very good fashion designer. When she was in Nigeria, she was learning. She was learning how to sew. She can braid hair. She was learning how to sew. Immediately, a lock smiled on her. She got married. She's in America today. She is sewing clothes, traditional clothes for people there. She is braiding. And she's pregnant. She has kids. At times, she will carry her kids. She will back them and still be braiding hair. And this woman has master's degree in international relations. She is lecturing in a hospital, in a university. So why don't our sisters wake up? Here, let us see how we can make the churches, the gatherings, make out time to tell them, let them realize that handwork is powerful. And let our women know that it doesn't revolve all around money. It is all about you getting empowered, knowing how to take care of your family and extend to others. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Chuma from France. Our friends are coming in. Before we continue, we are honored to have a very good friend of mine from all the way from Nigeria. Last year, they had the 2020 100 opportunity hub, the most influential young people in Africa, most influential young people. And right here with us is Prince Ubuche. Prince, my friend, he made the list of the 100 people, 100 young people, influential young people. So Prince, you're welcome. I hope you can hear us. I'm not seeing your video. I'm going to show his video is
maybe he's having audio problem.
Yes.
Obach is having always audio problem.
Yes, he's having audio problem. Okay, that's Prince. That's the front cover of the magazine, and it was sent to me also from the headquarters of their hub, and we are featuring it in the Schengen Story February-March edition magazine. Young people making impact. So Prince is here, and I would have wanted him to say something, because this is his field also, influencing people, helping groom young people. He's a young man himself. I hope his network will connect. So beautiful submission from France, from Chuma. Chuma, thank you very much. It's a very serious thing. Now let's get something right. Victor is here. That's my coordinator from Germany. Yes, he told me he will be on his way to work. Victor is here. Victor, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, brother.
Good.
Good evening. Nice to be with you.
Nice to be with you too. So
Yeah.
we are continuing with the dialogue from last week. Women empowerment and equality and all the talk on women. We said March looks like woman. The month of March is feminine. So, but it's a beautiful thing to have a period to really put out statements on our lady, the female gender. So now listen to this. Victor, you're here. One aspect of empowering our women. We've just talked about the level of illiteracy here and how it will be very hard to really do things. But our Queen Ebere gave us some very good focal points. She said a starting point is structures on ground. The churches here, the African churches and the embassies and the association, regional association, local association of Nigeria could help to begin to groom women. They should have programs, events on talk like what we're doing here. They could have those seminars, have things, activities that will be empowering the women. So that's a beautiful insight from Queen Ebere. So now I want to ask this again. It's obvious that one angle that is growing in our time in the sector, in human endeavor, is the digital side of it. The digital side of the economy is the booming side now. And it's one thing to say, yes, women can be equal, but how can they step up to that vast sphere of knowledge with digits, with computer? How can we drag the women gender into that sector of digital economy? Because that's the most prolific sector now. And we need more women in that side. It is more of the men. So Victor, do you have anything to say? How can women match up? Because we're talking of equality. The women want to be equal. And one place that they need to level up with the male is the digital economy sector. So how can that be done? Yes, you want to say something about it? Or Victor, are you there? Okay.
Yes, if I can say something, it still sums back to what I said before: interest. I'm a scientist, a senior nurse. I had to learn. I'm very good at digital marketing and everything, but I learned on my own. It took me like 3 years. I'm very, very good at it. anything digital, Facebook, not programming. That one you need to go to school, but I could even learn it. But you have to tell, they have to understand, the women, that it's very important to go digital. It's important. Or anything digital. This is the world we live in now. It's online. It's digital. So once we have told ourselves that we need this as part of the tools to be empowered, then I manage 15 Facebook pages, 15 Instagram accounts. All these things, I learned it on my own because I said I needed this to move to the next step. Now people giving me their accounts to manage.
Yes,
so we need to, yeah, you see, my brother, the thing is that, let's say, for example, the Nigerian embassy here has a conference or a party or something. That's where, for example, we need to go and tell them that this is important to move on. You see, it's not, as long as we don't see the need for it, we're not going to use it. We'll say, no, it's not important, but it is important. That's it. That's my little contribution.
Now, a lot of our ladies are on the social platform actually, but it's more of the frivolous things that
Exactly.
they are gossip, making videos on themselves, fighting themselves through. That's what they're doing. So
Very
for
true.
that,
Very
they are good at doing that. But we're talking of harnessing these things for the good of our community, our people, making income out of it, and more importantly, since we are talking of being equal with the men, so coming up to that level where the digital sector become the women gender are there, they are involved too. They are doing those things men normally do, and they are doing it productively, making something out of it. Do you understand? So that's it. Victor is there now. We have a friend that has come in, and that's our coordinator, Schengen story coordinator from the UK, Bedford, UK. That's Matthew Ogaraku. Honorable Matthew, you're welcome. Yes, you're welcome. So we are discussing, as usual, we are talking women, our sisters, our mothers, our wives, our girlfriends, and women. So there are still more questions. So questions are coming in. Somebody is saying that, how can the Black women escape racism? I don't know. Did you hear that? Lara, can you say something? You say, how can the Black women stand against racism? Lara, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, there's a question coming in. Normally questions come in. So
Yes.
a question has come in now. Is it how can we empower Black women to stand against systematic racism? I don't know. Somebody just
Well, I understand you. It's all about racism, whether systematic or anyhow you put it. It's just racism. The truth about it is that, first of all, we have to understand what is racism, and then depending where, how these things are put to them. But I know that racism is racism, anyhow it is. But first of all, as a Black woman, you just have to know who you are. You know what you can do, your values. You just have to know that. Make sure that it's placed in your heart. You just have to have that mindset of who you are as a woman, irrespective of your color. Do you understand? This will really help you to fight racism, because a lot of people, here where I live, they talk about this racism of a thing and then how they face it in their places of work. I don't really believe in that, because I am that kind of woman that knows my rights. I'm that kind of woman that believes in what I can do for myself. I'm that kind of woman that can stand anybody. So when they speak about this racism, I keep telling them that I don't really know, I don't understand what they mean by racism, because from day one, I tell them who I am. From day one, in fact, I show who I am with my character, the way I talk. So if you have this kind of racism in you, or you want to, come and push me aside, telling me that I'm a Black woman, to me, it doesn't exist, because I know my worth, I know my value, and I know what I can do even in places that I've attended. I mean, where I've worked before, where there are a lot of white people and all of those stuffs. What I can put on ground, tells who I am. And then, so I don't know the area of how they want to come and, put racism or trying to, push me aside using color, telling me that I am a Black woman. So in my mind already, I've already set it that no matter how they come, I'm always ready to defend myself. I'm always ready to show, to give them that impression of who I am, irrespective of my color. All right. So first of all, as a woman, you just have to know your worth, know your value wherever you see yourself. Remove this color of a thing from you whenever they come to you that maybe because you're a Black woman and then because of that you don't really have a say in a place of work or the people you meet or where you go to. You have to really put it in your character. I mean, in your face, in the things you do, the way you present yourself. So that's the way I try to defend or show them that put myself in that position that you don't really have to tell me that I'm a Black woman. Now because of that I am different from you. Do you understand me?
Very good.
My
Yes.
people are just joining. I'm sorry.
Yes. We have with us our Apostle Helen Root from
Yes.
Holland. You're
Yes,
welcome.
Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry. There was an emergency that came up. As a pastor, I needed to go and attend to that church member. So the whole thing lasted for a long time. So I'm still on the way. I'm still driving. So I just had to use my hand in hand to just connect. I'm so sorry, please. Everybody,
okay.
Please, I apologize.
It's okay. Listen, this is part of what we're talking about. What you're doing is that what we just finished, we're talking about. Empowering, supporting your fellow women, empowering and guiding them. A lot of people need to be guided. A lot of women in Europe, Nigerian, African women need guide. They need help. They need support. They need somebody that they can lean their shoulder on. Yes, and however you're doing it, you're doing great. We appreciate that. So we have questions coming in, and the last one was a question on how women can be empowered to avoid racism. So it's an issue actually. Apostle Helen, what do you say as you're driving?
Yeah, to avoid what, please?
Racism. The person said, how do we empower Black women to avoid systematic racism? I don't know. That's how the question went.
Okay, I think for me, to my own best of knowledge, when you equip a woman academically, totally, that thing will liberate her from inferiority complex.
Good.
So because once you have attained a certain height in education, the power of inferiority is being broken. So secondly, somebody have to learn how to interact with others. I mean, don't just what I found out among our own people is that they only like to hang around or people from the same circle, people from the same color, people from the same. So when they go to their jobs, they already feel isolated. Once they see, they already feel somebody is trying to discriminate them when they are working in a corporate environment that are dominated by the whites. But that should not be. You must always be proud of yourself and carry yourself high and know that you cannot be black and white. So, or you cannot be brown and be white at the same time. So the way God made you is unique, and when you continue as well to see yourself in a positive light, nothing can jeopardize you. Nothing. And thirdly, I think the family background is also another thing. When people have undergone some certain stigma, like when they are chronically poor and now they have come into a rich environment where they can afford everything, some tend to still feel that inferior. Some tend to still relate relate to themselves as if they are still from the poor background, even when they have attended a certain height educationally. So the whole thing boils down to the individual. You just have to process yourself and get yourself equipped academically. At the same time, just take yourself the way you are. Keep confessing positively about yourself. Look at yourself from the image as God made you. And at the same time, yes, just try as much as you can. That's what I think I can say for now.
Wow. What you just said for now is powerful.
I don't know.
What you just said now is this is serious. It's more than what you think. Thank you very much. That's a beautiful insight to the topic. Yes.
You're welcome,
Yes.
sir.
Go ahead. Ebere, you want? Yes. Go ahead, Queen.
I would just like to add also to what Apostle said and Laura said, is that something I might be mixed, but I do face racism once in a while. But it hasn't been with where I work. It's more of the old patients who have a tendency to say certain things. But you don't have to tolerate racism. I have zero tolerance, because when they say words, I put them back. And I'm telling you, firmly and boldly back to that place, that they don't dare talking about it again. Secondly, also teach our children who they are and what they are. Unfortunately, I have seen many Black kids that don't know who they are. I tell you that in my own house, I have 2 boys and 1 girl. They fight. They say they are not white. They tell you them they are blacks. They tell that my daughter 3 days ago told me, Mommy, why didn't you give me more melanin? That means, why am I not more Black? They are proud and they are Black. And my daughter at 12 has come, like last year, 2 times where a white boy was racial. I took it up. I wrote a letter. I got it rectified. You have to act immediately when there's any instance or any time somebody becomes racial, especially with her kids. So if my daughter now has seen that Mommy fights against racism in her life, she will learn that she's not to tolerate racism at all. It happens. It will always happen. But because you're tolerant with it, they will keep on. But the day you say stop, 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 they will stop. That's it. We need to also act on it, because it's good. You have to know your value. You have to know what you are, educate yourself and all that, but don't tolerate racism. Go about it in a very strategic way, because I had to even intervene with the chief of nursing that this patient was actually racist, and I had proof. You have to have proof too, and it was stopped, and so that it doesn't continue. And you have an incident of, I even had a patient 4 years ago that I was looking after him. He hits me, and it was my own colleague that intervened, and he stopped. And he was only racial with the other a Black colleague of mine and myself. So you see, it was the color that was disturbing him. But when we intervened, he stopped. So if many people are tolerant with people that say words, so it's like my daughter 3 days ago, she came to tell me that her teacher was mimicking the Cameroonian accent, and for her it was racial. You see, that's it. So at the end of the day, we need to make these kids conscious, but not afraid of it, but bold enough to say no. A boy told my son that your mother is like Nutella. Nutella is black. Put your hand inside, bring your hand out. I intervened. I got the teacher. The boy apologized and everything. Then that person will not dare to come to my son again and tell me your mother is like Nutella. But many kids, and sorry to say, even Nigerians, tolerate it. And before it gets out of hand, you can't even intervene again. I've taught my kids no tolerance for racism. You know your worth. You are kings and queens. Nobody has a right to say anything against you. And that's it. And they grow up with this thing, and it follows them all throughout their lives. Just, yeah.
Thank you very
It's
much. So
important. Yeah.
these are the realities we as Africans, as Nigerians in the West, these are realities we are faced with. And every day it will be coming in different shades, to be coming in different angles. But these are realities, and it's wonderful that we are talking about this. It's good we are throwing light into it. Thank you so much. The ladies are representing.
Please, can I add up something, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, just want to add up from what Ms. Ebere said. I mean, from the first question you threw,
Yes.
when you were saying how do we empower women in Europe?
Yes.
You know, these are two different things. Let me just explain it a bit by bit. You said, how do we empower African women living in Europe?
Yes.
You know, first of all, some women came here as a result of marriage. The other one again, the other group came to study. And then also some came on their own, not because of marriage or because of studies. You know, so, but the ones that came to study, I wouldn't want to include them because they already know what they want, you know, because their aim of coming here is to study and, you know, acquire knowledge and maybe probably settle here or go back to Africa. So their own is a little bit settled. And then coming to those ones that came here as a result of marriage, I mean, their husbands brought them here. So I think this is the particular place, I mean, the area that we really need to dig deep, you know, because a lot of them believe coming to join their husbands, the man is already there working, you know, at the top. And then for them, they don't really need much, in as much as their husband is already doing something. They don't really have, you know, this kind of extra thoughts that they can also empower themselves. I mean, they can do something better. And that their husband also can also, you know, help them to be who they want to be, if actually they want it. Because I know that a lot of them too want to be somewhere, and then their husband is not letting them in, not allowing them to get to that level they want to be because of this African stereotype.
Mentality.
Hello?
Yes, we're listening to you.
Yeah. So because of that, some of them don't really have this mindset of, you know, let me go and get extra thing done for myself, because the husband has already made them, you know, not to have that kind of thought, you know, in them to go ahead to go to school or to learn one thing or the other from the country or the government or the society where they live. And, you know, in Western world as well, they always make a provision for people, I mean, for migrants. I mean, those ones that they don't really do anything, they always make a provision that if you want to get integrated, you go to social place to get some information and all of that. And then you find out that a lot of them too want to go and do those things, want to get integrated, you know, look for one thing or the other to do for themselves. But their husband will not let them to do that. Their husband wouldn't want them to get integrated because of one thing or the other, because of this African stereotype that I told you. Okay? So, and then coming down to those ones that came on their own, of course, they came to hustle. I mean, they just want to
Economic reasons.
They don't want to come to Africa, come to Europe, you know, to better their life and that of their family members back home. You know, once they get themselves fit, you know, get a job and start working and getting little money, they feel that is, you know, I mean, the highest of it all. Not knowing that there are other ways they can also add up something to their life, add value to their life by getting extra to get to another level. So these are little things that I also felt that that are somehow limiting some of us. Like my sister said, they're going to say something to do with structure. You know, depending on structure, I mean the society or the country where you find yourself. You know, it plays a very significant role in the sense that when they come, like this language barrier of a thing, some of them, they are afraid, or is it that they are afraid, or they are very reluctant to go and get, to go and get themselves educated, learning the language and looking for one thing or the other to do for themselves. You know, and then coming down to African community where, you know, the way they do their things, you know, the community, church thing, weddings and all of those things.
Yes.
That's where their mind, you know, is being channeled to. You know, and then our people, I mean the ladies, I mean the women sometimes too, they don't really expand their horizon, you know, in the sense that they don't like associating with people they don't know. They always work within their community. And they're not knowing that when they go out, there are other things, other people they will meet that will even help them, you know, get to where they want to go. They will give them ideas, information on how to move forward in Europe. They just live within their community, within their society. I mean, the people they see around, those their friends that they go to wedding with or birthday parties or all those small gatherings we Africans usually, host. So these are some of the things that I felt that could be a barrier to most of our African women that need to, get to the next level.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But if I can add something, please.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
in addition to what Honorable Laura just said, I believe that empowering the African woman is something that is very, very good. But the African woman must be very willing to be empowered. Just like I said, when you migrate to a country that are not used to speaking English, or you leave your own country to another country, automatically you begin to feel there's a sort of atmosphere that surrounds you, that if you do not take care, you begin to think that you are inferior. You begin to lose, you begin to lose some value. And that is why consciously, if you have somebody who understands you, like your partner, who know your worth and know what you are capable of doing, that person will help you to find yourself, find yourself in the next, in that's your immediate environment. He will begin to guide you on your next attainment, or on your next level. Why are you here? Are you here for economic reasons, or are you just here to study, or you are here just for marriage? What's the purpose why you're here? Even if you are here for marriage, your husband brought you here, you don't just need to sit. One thing I found out with African women is that when they come here, they still maintain that same African mentality, whereby they think that the man must be the only one to take care of the family. So they leave every responsibility, just like the way many of them do in Africa. They leave the same responsibility here, and they begin to call their husband Oga, Oga, Oga. The moment you begin to call your husband Oga, Oga, you are already making yourself very, very inferior. And then you don't want to break out from, there's nothing wrong in calling Oga, but you can still call the Oga and still know that you didn't just come here to look at the walk under the snow and look at the beautiful streets. You must become independent somehow. Like you must go to school, study to show yourself that you are competent to do. You can do some other things. Ways to empower them. The first thing will be give them a certain perspective, give them back their image, let them get back their confidence, get back their image, know how to carry themselves. After that, then put them in a school where they have to go and learn whatever they can do, either vocational school, Then the third is let them become computer literate, because in Nigeria, many of them were not computer literate before they came over here. So here, everything is computerized. Everything you enter the bank is computerized. Everything you want to do, you just have to do it. Do it system. Do it yourself here. No, so people don't really have that time spending and telling you have to do no. So if the African woman is empowered, become computer literate, that African woman will do a lot, because every other thing, the moment she knows that she can use her phone to do newsletter, and she can use her phone to write emails, she can do everything with her phone, then that woman is at the verge of really doing some exploits, So I'm just talking about phone, or not just laptop or whatever, but the phone, because all of us have powerful phones these days. But what is the essence of carrying a phone only just to be making calls, when that phone or your other counterparts in different countries are using them for all of these movies we are watching? So educate the African, let the African woman become computer literate. Secondly, let the African woman know that her end doesn't end in the kitchen. Let her know that she can something valuable can come out of her. Then, because if many of them who are suffering, like those who said they are married, I'm married, but I'm very, very unhappily married. I'm not just married, I'm happily married. So, and my husband gives me every chance to do whatever I want to do in life. So if the men will get to empower their wives on the next thing to do. Look, here we know that most of our African are very, very big. Why? Because we don't even ride bicycles. We don't go to the gym. We don't even do any of those things. So we decode again, we lock up ourselves. So teach them the little things. Go and learn how to ride bicycle, because if you can learn how to ride bicycle, you will not sit and be waiting for somebody to come and carry you and carry you there. And when they cannot carry you, then that becomes a problem. So little things they can get themselves empowered with, and then they can begin to excel. Look at hairdressing. Add something, add more value to yourself. Get another skill. Let them get another skill. Even as a consultant, you can still be a hairdresser. You can, open a salon and begin to do those black friends you are crossing around, begin to do their hair and earn some money out of it. Look at the nails. So there are so many things we can do, we can use to empower the African woman when the African woman is willing to be empowered. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I take up something? I'm happy. I just listened to Laura and Apostle Helen. There are 2-3 things I want to highlight here before we go forward. Madam, you made mention of African mentality, and with women that when they come over here, they continue to call Oga and whatever. It looks like their men are being, are caging them. But I want to put something very clear to you, which I know very, very well, madam. You also understand it's been happening everywhere. Most men that bring their women over to Europe or to America or whatever, there's this, end quote, notion we have that whenever you leave the shores of Nigeria, you've entered a flight and land into Obodo Ibo, the foreign man's land. Everything, money is on the street. You pluck them. But when you come in here, your husband makes you to understand, look at the way things are. And he empowers you. We know of so many that their husbands have made, their husbands have trained to be doctors and nurses and whatever. What next do they receive? These men face women sending them out of their homes. Nobody likes to be in a broken home. Nobody likes to suffer and not get anything. Empowering a woman is at the same time letting the woman understand that when you get married, you stop being I and start being we.
Exactly.
And then when that happens, you also have to stand at that pulpit as an apostle or a pastor. You do this. I do MC, and I stand on on the floor when I am emceeing a wedding, and I tell them, video man, cover me, please, and let this message go straight to the parents of this wife and the parents of the groom and the bride. These people are married now. You have lived your life. Allow them to live their own life. Okay. Do not make them, you come and tell them, look, your neighbor came back home. He brought in, or she built a house for their parents. She did this for their parents. Do you know how that came about? All fingers are not equal. That is one, please. Second one, I am talking about computer literate. My sister, please know it. Is kind of an ideology that has been, embedded into us, that Africans are not current. But look at it. If not, I know of 6-7 people, women, that are programmers back home in Nigeria. There's a lady that has built a very strong app now to help fight against women being molested or raped or whatever. It is there. I shared it on my phone. So what I am saying is, our sisters back home are all learned when it comes to computer, because everybody wants a big phone and they know what is in it. But the problem we ought to start facing is to let them understand that these phones are not meant only for Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and what. You like to follow somebody on WhatsApp or on Instagram. Who is following you? Let us make them understand that they can exhibit their skills. That is what is in vogue now. Let our sisters that have come into this place exhibit their skills. If you don't have a skill, go and learn a skill. If you want to integrate, go and get integrated, but do not assimilate that idea that says if a man, offends you, or a man shouts at you or tries to correct you, you tell him, this is my house, you call the police. Somebody brought you into that house. You cannot be alone. Single parent is not good. Thank you.
That's the man, a man's voice coming in. Okay, there are lots of questions from the YouTube side, and I want them to just be there with us. So please let me take one question from the YouTube, then you can all make your submission. It says, we can't go into this event without talking about domestic violence. So what do you say, women and gentlemen? They say we cannot go into this event without talking about domestic violence. We all know what that means. So many men become very aggressive and beat up their partners. And we've had cases where some men kill their partners. And in the US, we have the opposite too, where the women are the ones, some of the women are killing their men too. So what do you say, Ebere, what do you say, domestic violence? The question is coming from the YouTube corner.
Sorry, I need to leave. It's time for me to go to work.
Oh,
Domestic violence. Personally, I advise you to have this as a topic on its own, and I can talk about it.
Okay.
But not yes. I need to go because I have to go to work now.
Yeah,
but domestic violence, we cannot treat it in 5, 10, 15 minutes. You should talk about it. But he's very right. It's a topic to be talked about because it's a problem here.
Yes.
A big problem where we leave at the shores of our country and come here, and then we start behaving, men and women likewise, we start behaving differently, and then it causes conflict and it leads to violence.
Before you hear this one is coming from me now, is my own small submission. One, I'm going to be a little bit hard, but take it. One very serious aspect of women empowerment and equality that we don't talk about because people shy away from it is the fact that the women gender are the ones that fight themselves. Women would have been so progressive in the world. It is both African and Europeans. But whenever a woman stands in a key position, she's the one. We know, men know this. So maybe we're going to talk about this next time again, like you said, with the domestic violence. Why does that thing happen? Why are women the enemies of their self? It gets so
good question.
It gets so hard that you even have some women. No, it's funny. It sounds funny.
No. It's very bad. Sorry, you're right. I have only men I work with, no woman, because of that.
I know many girls that say they don't have female friends.
I have female friends, very close, but those I work with are men. That's it.
They prefer companions.
I agree with you. There's a lot of
we want to let you go. Ladies and gentlemen,
thank you very much.
Queen Ebere, a friend from New Zealand, and she's joining. She'll be part of our group on discussions in the virtual town hall meeting. Ebere, thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Apostle. God bless you, and thanks a lot for everything. I'm sorry I have to go.
See you again.
Bless you. Bye-bye.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so for those of us that are still here, now the matter is so serious that we decided to make the front cover of our February-March magazine because it's a women month. March is women month.
Yeah.
So our front cover features 2 women, and funny enough, they're not here. So, but what we want to really be doing, it's like a mandate for Schengen story, is to continually pump the women gender in Europe, Nigerian women gender, African women gender in a positive light. I have seen enough of the negativity. And I sat down one day and said, what does it cost me to just keep putting out the positive side? So we want to do that, like we said last week, we need role models. We need women that will begin to show these girls that it is not this what they think. There's a change of mindset to behavior and their relationship with people. So, but we need women role models. So, like we said last week, we seek for who it will be, who will come and be doing things, showing us. Let's be having all these conversations also. Let's be doing things and be building our Nigerian community, bring the positive side of us. The damage has gone too far. The character assassination has done too much. So it's time to build, and we have to build. We need to build our community. We need to erect pillars that will stand strong in Europe as our Nigerian community in Europe. So with that, I don't know, Matthew is here. Matthew is a philosopher and a man that sees things from different angles. Matthew, do you want to give a submission before we begin to round up?
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was so good listening to women talk more about relationship. Yes, definitely. They have always the feminist aspect of it. But the relationship has a lot beyond male and female. It has much to do with what you have to offer in the image of the whole thing. Yeah, there's some perceptions and idea of leaning to your side in relationship has not helped matters so much. And more importantly, we should always know that, yes, though we do not encourage dominance, but that a man came in and choose you among many means he has something on you. You can't say man didn't love you before he chooses you. So if there's this love, whether it is by assumption, I think it's a privilege that needs to be paid back for. And this may be done, better done by resistance, but by encouragement. And better done by confrontation, by dialogue. When there is issues that doesn't seem to go well, you dialogue with your man and be careful who you bring in to be your judge, because sometimes no family they said is perfect. So you have to try to make sure you build your own family mostly in a positive way, in a positive manner. I'm happy how Apostle said, not only that I am married, but I'm happily married. That's something worth of it. And when it is one that makes up a marriage happy, it's not just because the husband treats you so well, that's what makes marriage happy. No. It also means that you are offering something to make the man happy, to make you happy. It is a symbiotic relationship, as it is said. And you can give what you don't have. So sometimes one of the issues that we normally have in relationship is that sometimes people are not prepared for it. Just like somebody has rightly said. Yes, some other people came in and has seen a lot of people make a lot of effort on their women that was paid back bad. Some other people also came in feeling that the man is a breadwinner and should be everything about it. People doesn't think they will contribute effectively in the maintenance of the home. More importantly, when we live in Europe, where you have bills to pay, and if you don't work enough, you can't have enough to pay. And whenever you are running beyond your earnings, automatically it affects your relationship. And you don't stay there and then say, this one takes the wife to holiday and take her to moon or to sun, and then you don't do me that. No, please. I think I know that most of the religious, in fact, most of the Protestant groups, communities are doing a lot in terms of family relation. Some more traditional churches don't do, unfortunately. Though every institution has their own advantages and disadvantages. Having said that, I think other things that is being a problem to our institutions is that um, once we leave the shore of Nigeria, sometimes we leave the shore of our culture to some extent. And certain things that are somehow resolved in certain manners are no longer there. You have to manage it yourself. And if you are not matured enough, you may be a victim of handling. Let me not take you too much here. What I'm trying to say here is that
Yes.
we should see marriage as a sweet institution that need to be kept renewed and sustained. Anytime you are not instrument to sustain this sweetness of idea, know ye that you are not helping matters, and maybe what you get is exactly what you offer. Thank you, and God bless you.
God bless you too. Thank you. Yes. So on that note, everybody has said something beautiful, and believe me, it's echoing all over.
Here now. I'm
Yeah,
here now.
you're here now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the discussion on violence, somebody said, is a big topic of his own, but I want us to end the women empowerment discussion so that, because we are bringing back Abike Dabiri, our NIDCOM officer in Nigeria. We want to have her in our next webinar. So we want to finish this discussion today. So in the next 20 minutes, Apostle Helen, can you give us, say something about this violence? It's a question from the YouTube corner.
Okay. Yeah.
Violence.
Yeah.
Domestic
When we talk about domestic violence, we have to know that it is a global problem. It's a global issue. It's not just something that is peculiar to the blacks. Because I've done a lot of programs, television and radio programs on this issue, and I've brought so many professionals as far back as 10 years ago till now. Domestic problem has always been a very crucial topic. People, and it keeps increasing. It's not depreciating. It is increasing more and more. I begin to wonder, because there was a time I asked one of my professional guests. I asked him if it is a racial problem. And then he told me no. It is something global. It exists among the whites and exists among the blacks. So it is a human problem. But then I took time to begin to look at this whole thing. I see lack of tolerance among the couples. It's very, very true that people, you saw somebody and you married and you've stayed for so many years. But remember, the person you married, even if I look at those who come from a nuclear family, you will see that sometimes you will think you know your brother or you know your sister very well. And somehow down the line, another character begins to come forth, which you were not aware of. And then you begin to look at it as if it's so strange. That's the same way it is in marriage. You don't just stay for just a short period and then you think you know the woman very well or you know the man very well. That's why before people get into a relationship, make sure that you are ready for it. Make sure you are ready to marry, because marriage is not just something you just start and then you end up the way you want. So, and neither is it a sex rendezvous, because sometimes when people think they have been starved sexually, both male and female, so they just want to get somebody so they can ease themselves. So after the satisfaction, immediately that satisfaction is over, then they don't need the person anymore. So the other one begin to feel rejected. And out of rejection, then intolerance comes, because any little question, any little thing that person will get, the other party wants to say becomes offensive to the other one. So, but if they had been matured and they entered into a relationship, no matter how temperaments may rise, they would still know to the extent they want to go, and know that there are certain things they would not use their mouth to voice out, because when you say those things, you may not be able to withdraw them, and it will create a lot of damage in the life of the other party, who may not also be ready to forgive. So of late, we've seen that many Africans who migrated to the Western world, they began to, the violence have increased among them. So either because a woman got a job and then the husband began to feel inferior, or the woman got a job and the husband, she began to undermine her husband. I don't think any responsible woman who have been blessed to have a job and have a home, have a husband, will now all of a sudden you just turn overnight just because you got a job. Then you begin to look down on that person. It means you were ungrateful. It means that ingratitude have always been part of you. You hid it, and the man didn't know that was part of you before the person got married to you. On the other side also, I have seen, and then when we talk about this violence, we always say the men are hitting the women, and all the time it's being projected that way. Yes. But please permit me to say this. What about those women who carry hot water and pour on their husbands? Okay. Is that not domestic violence? What about those women who will remove their headgear and tie it in the waist and begin to slap the man? They will be the first to slap the man, and then they will turn and say, slap me, eh? If you have power, slap me. Yeah, you cannot increase your power with that of a man. Because when you finish slapping the man and you turn and say, if you have power, slap me, I will lock you up. Then, if they cannot slap you, then they use a gun and take their life. Because if it's in Africa, they can slap them until they have no other place to slap them. But in America, in the Western world, they don't have time to go on those slapping, so they quickly take the gun which they can find in anywhere and just finish the person. You see, and that is wrong. So the women, I have to talk to them. Whatever is making you so provoked to the point that you will carry a pot of soup and pour on another person, that thing is very demonic. So after pouring the man the hot soup, and some of you don't even pour only hot soup, you have damaged the men. Some have suffered domestic violence verbally. Anytime the man comes in, you say, you can never equate to anything. You never do well, man. No, I met you with your poverty, so I'm gonna leave you with your poverty. How? Sure. So you have damaged this man emotionally. Sure. Verbally, you have damaged this man. So when the man and one thing is that when you break the ego of a man, you make the man feel inferior. Then the next thing, they feel that they don't want existing anymore. So their hatred will increase, and then they just want to do away with that woman than to see the woman hanging around with another man. So, women, mind what you say when you are angry. Learn to endure certain issues. If the home becomes too hot, I advise that the man, please, just take your car key and move out for a while. By the time you are coming back, if that's a good woman, she will repent for what she has said to you. She will repent. But if she's not a good woman, maybe she's still nagging around, well, endure her. If you need to check into a hotel and just be there for 2 or 3 days so that tension can cool, you do that. Than to stay and both of you are flipping your words. Don't forget, women are very sharp in speaking. So they have 25,000 words which they need to speak in a day. If they don't speak it, they cannot be themselves. So you don't compete with a woman that have been loaded with so many words, because if you give her the chance, she will mess you up. So the best thing would be that when a woman begins to rant, just carry your key and move out and look for a way to calm the situation. If you need to go and buy some bouquet to bring back for her, okay, you do that. Another thing also that is causing this domestic violence is also the issue of sexual harassment. You see, the woman have gone to work, she is back and she wants to catch some sleep. And here you are, because she must fulfill her obligation as a woman, which is okay. But why don't we also see it the other way, that when she is tired, she may not even enjoy that sexual time, and make it cultivate the habit of not demanding that to satisfy yourself when your wife is tired. So when she says she's tired, anything you are doing is gonna be provocative. I'm telling you, it's gonna be very. So you touch her at the right places, she will just be spitting on you, acting as if she's not. And then if you push it further, and then maybe now you want to begin the action, and now she's feeling pain out of it. Sometimes she can give you a slap. So. Yes, so many things can cause this violence. But as a pastor, I think I am just encouraging the people to learn how to endure and be tolerant. Let your love grow more. See more love in that person than seeing the weaknesses of him or her. So see more love. When your wife wants to manifest the other side of her, please see more love in her. Remember what moved you to go and select her as a wife. Let that thing dominate your mind, and before you know it, the anger will just evaporate. The same thing also for the woman. That you came to Europe doesn't make you grow wings and doesn't make you begin to advocate for feminism. And you're advocating for feminism and yet you are getting married. What's that supposed to be? Okay, I just wanna. This is just
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Apostle, you're too much. See, the men are doffing their hearts for you.
Well,
thank you so much. Listen, Apostle, by the grace of God, when the gates are open, the Corona passage are free, we'll be having physical conferences and seminars. So be ready to move around.
Yes.
Tickets and hotel room paid for. Don't worry, we'll take care of it.
I trust you. I know.
Tickets, paid for. Thank you very much. Thank you. We need to. Some people are just coming in. We need to round up now so that we don't hold you up in your other activities. Everybody has what they do on Saturday evenings.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
Sorry for having the event too early. It was actually because of our sister Ebere, because she said that was the time for her. So, but we will really get very good timing and dates and continue these beautiful discussions.
Yes.
There has never been a time better than this, like we say, a time when all of us in Europe, Nigerians in Europe, are aware of ourselves.
Yes.
And we are changing the narrative. We're bringing a different outlook.
This is true.
So I thank you all for coming. Matthew from Bedford, Ogechi from Ireland. Laura, you've been coming and going. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Now you're putting on the mask. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your presence. We appreciate your presence.
Yeah.
My great sister, Apostle Helen, thank you very much. So
thank you so much for your time.
The questions were coming in, but we can't answer everything. So maybe I might forward some to you, Apostle. And
it's all right.
Send me the link. Send me the link.
Okay. Okay. So
thank you so much for the wonderful work you are doing. It is my desire that the Lord keep protecting you and rest his hands upon you. Because as a matter of fact, what you are doing is very, very, very important and very sensitive. So not everybody will just be enjoying it. But I pray that those who will love you, there will be more than those who will want to say anything against you. May the Lord sustain you. May his hands be upon you. May the eyes of the wicked never see you. May this channel go forward and forward and forward until God brings glory out of the whole thing. I pray for every one of you who have been members of the fellow panelists. May God bless each and every one of you. And keep on the good work. All your contributions, they were very necessary. God bless every one of you in your different countries in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much. That's a beautiful way to round.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Apostle.
Thank you, honey.
We are coming back again, hopefully next week, with our mommy in Nigeria. That's Abike, the NIDCOM officer, Abike.
Yes.
So when the platform is arranged, let's all be there as usual. God bless you. Thank you.